Hi, everyone. Just wanted to take a minute to talk about how to solve some word problem related questions in regards to standard form. So, one of the main benefits to standard form is actually it's kind of showing you a really clear way to illustrate kind of constraints between two different things. So ultimately, how we're setting up equations is, we have in standard form ax plus by equals c. And we can almost say c is kind of like our constraint or our maximum value or something that we're trying to achieve. And then we have to combine these other two things at some quantity in order to hit that threshold. And that's kind of a great way for us to look at problems, right? Because a lot of times you're saying, okay, well, I want to buy shoes and I want to buy pants, and I have $48 or something like that. Well, I suppose you might not be able to get a lot of shoes and pants for $48, but you get the point. And it's a very natural kind of situation that comes to pass, right? So, for example, in this problem, we're looking at grapes. So Deandra has $12 to spend on a mixture of red and green grapes. What equation can she use to graph a line showing the different amounts of green and red grapes she can buy for $12? So that's kind of what I was just talking about, right? There's kind of like here's our restriction, and then these two are two other quantities that have to add together to be at that level. So ultimately, we're talking about we have $12. So at the end, my price has to equal $12. I don't know exactly how many of each grape I am buying. All I'm saying is at the end, it equals $12. And I have to do some combination of $3 for the green grapes. I don't know, I call it G. You could call it X, you could call it Y. And then $2 for the red. All right. And these together, right, because this is giving us how much money we are spending on grapes. It's $2 for each pound of red grape, $3 for each pound of green grape. And these combined together have to equal 12. Now, there's not actually one specific solution to this. There's a whole line of solutions to this problem, right? So that's actually what the line is telling you. The line is telling you all the different potential combinations you could have of red and green grapes that will equal up to $12. All right. And the intercepts on this one actually give you kind of your maximum, right? So if I were to solve this for one of the intercepts, so let's say I want to just know the maximum number of green, right? And let's say I get 0 red grapes. That would give me 3g is equal to 12. So my green grapes would be 4, right? So I could potentially buy 4 pounds of green grapes. And that's what that's saying. That's what that intercept is telling me. If I wanted to buy just red grapes, I would have 0 green grapes, and I'd get 2r is equal to 12. So r is equal to 6. So I could buy 6 pounds of red grapes, and that would be 0 green grapes. So that's what these intercepts are telling us, right? So that they're kind of saying if we're buying things, the intercepts are giving if I buy all of one thing, and then the other intercept is telling me if I'm buying all of the other. In this case, if we're buying only green grapes or if we're buying only red grapes. So that is ultimately what the intercepts are telling us. All right, so that's about everything that we're going to get out of this question. Let's look at another one. Scroll down here. A store sells gift cards in preset amounts. You can purchase, which I hate, by the way. You can purchase gift cards for $10 or $15. You have $280 to spend on gift cards. Write an equation in standard form to represent the situation. Then, what are 3 possible combinations of gift cards you could have purchased? So, all we're doing here is once again, we're saying we have $10 per gift card X. I don't know. And then $15 for gift card Y. All right. And in total, we're spending $280. So, what are some possible combinations we could have purchased? Well, really, all we're going to do at this point is number one, we could graph. We could graph it and then find some various numbers that are going to give us any numbers on the line technically are going to work. Obviously, in this case, if we're buying gift cards, right, it doesn't make sense for me to do like 2.1. So you'd have to pick integer numbers, right? Because that's based on this context. So you could graph them and get a couple things, or you could try plugging in numbers. If you have to find 3 combinations of gift cards, you know what's a really obvious 2? You can find the y-intercepts and the y and the x-intercept, and those are going to be 2. So for example, if I plugged in 0 for x, I would have 10 times 0 plus 15y is equal to 28, 280, not 28. I'm sorry. So now let's look at this. We get 15y equals 280, and then y is ultimately going to end up being, if you get that, it's going to actually be 18.67-ish if you round it, or 56. Oops, yeah, 56. I had it right, 15. 56 over 3, right? So unfortunately, that won't help us because, as we said, we want to make sure that we are getting whole numbers. So let's look at let's look at the graph, right? That's probably the easiest way to do this particular problem. So if I pull up Desmos, and we wanted the graph of 10x plus 15y is equal to 280. I got to zoom out a little bit. All right, so let's look at what we have here. So let's see, do we have any specific points? Right. So unfortunately, there's our y-intercept, which we already found. That's not going to work. And then down here, this one will actually work. We could just get 28 of the $10 gift card. So that's a valid solution. So we could get, here's one, x equals to 28, and then y equals to 0. That will work. You get 28 $10 gift cards. Let's see if we can find any other points. So anything that's on an actual line right here. So I believe 10 and 12 is one. Yep, 10 and 12. So we just saw 10 and 12. So x equals 10, y equals 12. So if you wanted to confirm that, you could say, well, 15 times 12 is 180. 10 times 10 is 100. So you get 280. So that would work. And let's see if we can find any other points. And again, you're trying to find ones that are directly on things. So like right here, that looks like it's going to be one. What's that going to be? Right there. 16, 8. All right, so 16 and 8 will work because 8 times 15 is 120, and 16 times 10 is 160. So we get 280. So we could again have x equals 16, y equals 8. All right, so this is just a quick way you can get some of these. You could also just plug in various points and see if you can get any to work. Either of these methods is ultimately going to be acceptable as long as you can find 3 different solutions. And again, you just need to remember and be careful of which one you called which. So I called the X the $10 gift cards, and I said Y was the $15 gift cards. All right. And in case you're curious, why were we setting it up in this regard? We set it up with it being 10x plus 15y equals 280, right? Because we were saying $10 per gift card, and then $15 per gift card is equal to $280, right? So this is just our way of figuring out the costs.